Hello everyone, Alex Smith, Rupert Honeywood from Biz-Growth Bureau. Welcome to episode 6. This is prospect nurturing. I suppose what we're going to be covering in this bit is actually the methodology about not only what do we do internally for ourselves, but also what do we do for our clients. So we've built the right data, or we've helped you build the right data, or give you the tools to build the right data in terms of using different social media platforms and different methods. But now we're going to be taking you through the actual process of what do you do with that data's built. What words do you use and what process do you use to actually get them potential clients from cold prospects all the way to the point where they're not only asking for more information, but where they're actually asking for a sales-based conversation. And this kind of process, although specific to LinkedIn, it can really actually be used to a degree on or pretty much almost any social media platform, any form of communication. So hopefully you're following along on video and also following along through our podcast as well. So something I just want to lay the foundation of, if the process we're about to talk about, for every 100 people that we speak to, 8 to 13 hot prospects come out the back end of that. And to finish off with my bit before I hand it over to Rupert would be, everything should be built on the relationship of trust. Like we've been harping on about the whole way through everything we've been doing, is that the importance of making people your friend and actually building relationships with people. So as opposed to just selling them a one-time thing, you're going back to them with solutions and you're providing a solution to people that they actually need. And I'll hand over to you, man. What does the 6-step process actually look like?
Yeah, that's great. Thanks, Al, for that. Well, the important things, as we referred to, it is about, first of all, making sure you've got the best data to work with initially. You've got your targeting right. But we've taken care of that, so we don't need to go into any more now about that. So, and this, what we're about to explain now is more specific for LinkedIn. We talk about here a 6-step process for LinkedIn. If it's through other platforms, it would be different.
Yeah.
So if it's through LinkedIn, once we've identified those people, it's then about effectively connecting with that person. So it needs to be a very short, simple message. It's very important it doesn't have any sales message in there whatsoever. What you'll find is that about a third of those people who you connect with will accept your connection request. Okay, a very small percentage of people will actually reply, but you shouldn't read anything negative into that. It's just they don't know what they don't know. And
it'd probably be also a really good time, actually, Rupert, to plug in the idea actually of what an optimised profile looks like. Simply because of the reason, although we've sent out the initial connection request, and people may be engaged at that point, and they may be wanting to learn what we're about, but when we talk about an optimised profile, is LinkedIn's used for really one of two things. It's either a glorified CV or it's for attracting our ideal clients. And I suppose at this point, it'd actually just be worth saying, if you want to see what an optimised profile actually looks like, it'd be worth joining us on a webinar, wouldn't it? Because we don't have the time to be able to go into each single segment about why we do what we do or how we do it. But what we can do, that's what the webinar is specifically about. So we'll drop the link at the on the comment or the description underneath this video. Along with actually one of the previous videos on the second video that we did. It's the link for it as well, but sorry to interrupt, but it'd be a link into our webinar to actually where we talk about what an optimised profile actually looks like.
Yeah, that has really led into it very nicely, because the next thing I was going to say on from that is about what it mainly makes people do when you send a connect request out. Yep. Is that they will want to have a look at your profile. They may only look at it for 5 or 10 seconds.
But that's enough, right?
Yeah, to start with, that's enough. The reason that it may be such a short period of time is typically a lot of the time people are getting these notifications on the go.
Yeah.
And broadly speaking, if you look fairly reasonable when you're making the approach, there's some loose synergy there, people will accept it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And just when you send that connection request out for the people following at home, because this is obviously the second step. The first step is the data build.
Yeah.
Essentially building the bucket. The second bit is actually the connection request. Is there any message that goes out with that? Because I know on LinkedIn specifically for that, with the connection request, we can send an added note. So do I send a note with that, or do I leave that blank?
Yeah, it's far better to actually add a very short personal note in there.
And what does that note look like? Just a real brief.
Ultra simple. It needs to say something like, "Hi John, on look at your profile, there seems to be some certain synergies between us. Are you okay to connect?"
And this goes out with the connection request.
That goes out in the connection request.
So for you watching at the moment, or if you're listening to us on podcast, when going out either through LinkedIn, which is what we're talking about right now, or through social media, is actually to show you that you are human, is to send out a very brief message. Very simple. And what was that message again?
So it'd be something like, "Hi John, on look at your profile, there seems to be certain synergies between us. Are you okay to connect? Kindest regards, Alex."
Perfect. So real simple, and there's no hidden agenda to that at all. It's simply that there's some common interest, and that they may be able to be sharing some value in the future. And what's the second step?
Right.
What does the second step look like?
Well, the second step really is that once someone's accepted the connection request, is to send out what we class as a permission to engage or a thank you message.
So a permission to engage, my understanding would that be of more of an understanding that there's some value that can be shared there. We've mentioned that there's some synergies in the past, and there's actually more saying, is there a way of actually having a bit more of a further conversation?
Yeah, so with that one, it'd be a fairly short message again, but it'd be something like, many thanks for accepting the connection request.
Yep.
I've got a couple of questions I'd love to ask, and I'd like to share some information. Is that okay? Kindest regards, Alex. Okay?
Perfect.
Okay, now that message really is very, very important. Don't try and sell at this point at all. It's really important. That has three main purposes there. The first thing is it's to thank the person for accepting the connection request, but also it plays to a certain extent, because invariably they haven't sent a message back to you, so it plays a little bit on the slight element of guilt. So why wouldn't people want to be respectful and want to reply? The second thing is it will make people want to look at your profile in much more depth. Now this time around we said that someone might give you 5 or 10 seconds with the connection request. You may well find you get up to 15 or 20 seconds of someone's time at this stage.
And that's them looking at your profile.
And look at your profile.
Yep.
And this is why the optimization of the profile that you referred to is so important.
Yep.
Okay. And then the third thing is that because you've not overtly tried to sell in this message and you've built on the curiosity, people, of course, will tend to respond and say, well, yes, of course, please do. Okay, if someone says that, that's absolutely great, because it'd be really rude and stupid not to give them the information they're asking for and ask those two key questions.
I suppose at this point here, for everybody watching, and also for the people listening in, it'd probably be a good time to mention, what is an actual, in 30 seconds, Rupert, what is a well optimized profile? What does that look like?
Right, well optimized profile, don't word it to look like a glorified CV. That's what LinkedIn want you to do, because obviously they make lots of money from recruitment agencies.
Yep.
It needs to focus about you first of all personally.
As an individual,
but only a short sentence. The next part is about a paragraph which relates to your company, building on the credibility of the organisation, your core proposition, a nice tight paragraph, then 5 or 6 bullet points based on the pain points that your clients potentially face.
And what kind of things should I be saying in there?
Well, it's about trying to look at it from the client's point of view. So if you can try and think of the areas of pain that prospect is actually suffering, and what are key triggers for making them want to buy, that then leads in very nicely into the 5 or 6 key benefits that you can offer or problems you're trying to solve, again as a bulletized list.
Yep.
And then from that you need a little bit of a hook and then a call for action. The call for action would be things like phone numbers, email address. Now obviously on LinkedIn you can actually put that contact information in separately. We do recommend you repeat it at the bottom of your profile. So if you're familiar in marketing speak, you may have heard of something called AIDA, which is attention, interest, desire, action. Broadly speaking, it's following those principles.
I understand. So in terms of that, obviously, so now we've talked about the first 3 steps, so the data build, the initial connection request and how we do that. Then we talked about the permission to engage. And we've also mentioned the idea around actually what an optimized profile looks like. And like I said at the start of this video, at this point, if you want to see what that actually looks like, join us on a webinar, because this is where we delve into the specifics about how you actually do the lead generation itself through LinkedIn and through Sales Navigator. But more importantly, how do you actually optimize a profile, either for LinkedIn specifically to this, but that's not to say that it couldn't be used through Facebook, through Instagram, through Twitter, and through other social media platforms. I suppose it'd be very good to talk about the 4th step, which is the time follow-up. What does the actual time follow-up look like?
Again, it's ultra short, because in reality, people will see the previous message through the message trail when you go into their inbox.
And how many days after? So let's just say I've sent out a message, I'm an impatient individual, I'm busy, I want to get to my clients quickly and I want them to respond. How much time should I be waiting between sending my initial, say, permission to engage and that follow-up message?
It's usually about 7 to 10 days. You want to give people enough time to respond without them feel you're hounding them.
Yep.
But also, in real terms, what you'll tend to find is a lot of people will jump out and express some form of interest in the permission to engage message, but also through this message alone. Because what happens, again, if we think about how we all tend to live and work, we're on the go, we use our mobile phones, we get a message in which builds a bit on the curiosity side, we intend to respond, and they think to yourself, I haven't got time to deal with that now, I'll deal with it later on. So people forget. So this is where the time follow-up works really well.
Yep.
And that's why you get another spike with people putting their hands up at that stage.
I got that, cool. And I suppose now, that time follow-up is obviously crucial. The timing's obviously crucial on that as well. But say I've come back to someone's come back to me. What do I do then? Do I then go out with a sales message? Are they engaged? Do they know what I want to do? Or do I then try and build and build and build? Or do I go back and give them what they want and hit them with, what do I do after that?
Right, it's a great question. Obviously, it depends how people reply, because in real terms, we've established that there's probably about 150 different ways that people reply, believe it or not. But usually, if you get the wording of the message right for the next one, you'll find, apart from top and tailing it a little bit, you can develop a core message for the next one, and top and tail it slightly different, and it works really well. Okay. So if people are putting their hands up and saying, yes, please tell me more, well, you just need to do precisely that. So the next message that we'd recommend sending out would be a short sentence about you again, another short sentence about your organisation, building the credibility of your organisation, another short sentence about the problem you're trying to solve or your core proposition. You'll notice I refer to short sentences, so that's one nice tight paragraph. Drop in the 2 key questions you want to ask, and it's really important those questions are really simple. Try and keep it to sort of they're no more than 6 to 8 words, and you're building on an intuitive response, not a logical response. Because if you're asking people to think about what you've said in that message, you've almost certainly lost them, because people don't have more than 10, 15, max 20 seconds.
So when I'm on the go, you're looking at this on your phone, you've got maybe 10 seconds, and this is something for you to think about at home when you're actually going out to your clients, is how much time are they having to read the content and how much time are they actually consuming your content for? Now, obviously, through video and so on and so forth, you can't help the amount of time because it does take to get words across, but in messages and stuff like that, you want it to be quick, you want it to be short, and you want it to be sweet. So really think about the words that you're using and how you're actually engaging with your clients. And is there a final step to that? Obviously,
you'll find what the great thing with that message is, it's really designed to do one of 2 different things. The first thing is, if you got this right, it'll help to people to filter themselves out if they don't feel that they're a good fit. Also, equally works the other way around. It helps people to filter themselves in, which the good thing is that it helps to cut out those people which actually are not really interested in what you've got to offer. In other words, you end up with the wrong type of leads or prospects.
But that's actually a good thing, though, isn't it? Because dare I say it so bluntly, but I would rather people opt themselves out, because if they come to us and are, oh, I'm interested, but I don't really know what you're doing, are they really a lead? Or are they really someone that I want to, not waste my time if this is the wrong word, but are they really someone I want to spend trying to pre-qualify someone that doesn't need to buy my stuff?
And I think that's a fair point. And at this stage, you're only giving people what they're asking for, so it works really well. The final step to this, in terms of the 6-step process, if we talk about LinkedIn again, is again what we class as another timed follow-up message, which we normally recommend sending out again 7 to 10 days later. And that's simply, again, because people are on the go, they quite often just need to be reminded. And again, you get another lot of people putting their hand up at that stage as well. So just to summarize very briefly, go back almost to where we did at the very beginning with this, if you follow the advice we're talking about here, and it can be much more difficult to implement than you think, and obviously this is where the webinars fit in really well, what we can say to you, if you get your targeting right, is for every 100 people you connect with in your chosen target market, you will find between 8 to 13 out of 100 will express some form of interest or ask to have a sales-based conversation.
So I suppose it would be a good way, like, just to finish off with, just to give you those kind of that 6th step again. The initial bit is get the data right, get that data build right for you. This is obviously specific to LinkedIn. The second part is it's that connection request. It's that initial connection request, not to go out with a sales message. It's to go out with about the synergies between the companies and potentially being able to share value in the future. It's in that permission to engage, is that once they've come back to you, and now we say at this point, from the initial 100 people that we spoke to, about 30 to 50% will come back if done in this way. So there's that permission to engage. If they don't come back to you, either viewing your profile or asking for more information, it's that time follow-up about 7 to 10 days after. It's then if they come back to you at that point, they're either really keen or they're asking for more information. And this is where that qualifying pitch message goes out, and that we find about 15 to 25% then go on to the next stage of actually asking for more information or for a sales-based conversation. And out the back of that, you get 8 to 13 hot qualified leads at the back end of that. Is that about right?
That is sums it up perfectly.
Wonderful. So is that a good place to wrap it up?
I think it is, yeah.
Now, obviously, this is more of an introduction of this, just sharing value with you. So then now, if you'd like to delve into more about what this actually is and what more we could do for you, like the third time I've mentioned it now, we do have a free webinar for you to join us on. At the moment, it's running weekly. I think this next one's on Wednesday. But we're trying to get it into a point where it's actually running 2 or 3 times a week, and we'd love for you to join on that, where we delve into what an optimized profile looks like, what the prospect nurturing profile looks like with actual wording of wording of what we use, and which the next episode is going to be on actually the sales optimization, and we actually talk to you a lot more about the consultative sales. So I'd love to see you in that one. Anything else you can add?
Yeah, I think it's absolutely perfect. Again, it's a wrap, man.
As I said, I'm Alex Smith. This is Rupert Honeywood from Business Growth Bureau. Like I always say, thank you so much for watching. You are your feedback is our oxygen. Anything you'd like to comment on, drop it in below, good or bad. Love to hear from you. Thank you so much for watching. And also thank you very much for tuning into the podcast if you listen to us on audio.
Cheers.
Yeah, thank you so much. See you in the next episode. Thank you. Bye-bye.